Once again, welcome to Engineering Graphics and Solid Modeling. This section of the training, we shall be considering how to go about modeling one of the commonly used equipment in the laboratory by the name funnel, as you can see on the screen. Now, just as I've always emphasized that different draftsmen or designers have different ways of going about their own operation. For the sake of teaching, I'm going to start the modeling of this from the plant perspective. That means what you see when you look at the object from the top, like displayed on the screen now. Now, what do you see when you view the object from the top? That is exactly what you see. You're going to see the shape, one, all right. So you're going to see two holes, the smaller one and the outer one. Then you're going to see the outer sphere, which has curve at the left and right side of the curve. Then you have this opening. These are the things you see when you view the object from the top. Then after then, I'm going to work on the side view, the side elevation, where I'm going to come up with this. I'm going to link up the top, the middle, and the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to have basically 3 stages of modeling as far as this object is concerned. I'm going to start up with the plan, the top side, then I will locate the second opening, and then the last outlet before I will now add the thickness to them. Then finally, we talk about the addition of the color and joining the entire segment to make it one entity. Now, thank you very much. I will step into the full operation. As I've always told us, the best way to learn this is to learn from the first example, then put it in coming up with your own design. That is how to know where and how to use various possible tools in the environment. Once again, thank you very much, and let's start up. Okay, at this stage of the modeling, we shall be considering one of the commonly used apparatus equipment in the laboratory, which is called the funnel. Now, this is what we use in measuring the chemical, the base, the acid, and all manner of fluid. Right, so it's not a new thing to the student. We're going to demonstrate how to model it from the top to the connecting part and to the exit, that is the bottom. Now, the essence of doing this is to expose the student on various ways you can manipulate your drawing by making use of several possible tools in AutoCAD and other CAD environment. Now, first and foremost, to start up this, there's need for you to set up the environment. How do you go about doing that? I've explained it in previous video. I think for the sake of detail and clarity, it's good to visit the previous visit I've done on this. But then you must put into consideration the limits. Set the limits, very important. Then choose a scale, because in graphics you work to scale. You don't just do things blindly. You have to specify the scale and the dimension. Very important. Just as I've explained earlier, different designers have different ways of going about their work. It all depends on the style and the uniqueness of your analysis, but then the objective remains the same. Now, to draw the top part of the object, I can start by using a straight line. Alright. Okay, that I can achieve by clicking on this. Alright, I can achieve that by clicking on line. Let's go. 1. Okay, you click on line. I move a straight distance, say 6.23. Now I'm working in inches. That is what you do when you're selecting or specifying the dimension. Alright. Specify the, sorry. Okay, I pick up the circle, the straight line, choose a place of interest, specify the length, alright, and say enter, and that gives me this. That's the distance for the horizontal part. Then I specify the vertical part, say 4.5 inches. Enter. Now, how do I go about that? Just select the line, click the point of takeoff, then move your hand towards the direction of interest, When you key in the distance, the actual distance, I say enter, automatically will draw that. Then I position my hand again downwards, and that is that. Specify the dimension of interest and say enter. That gives you that. Then all I need to do now is to complete the box by drawing the remaining right L shape, but it's not necessary. All right, for the sake of teaching, all I need to do is to click on this one and pick on and click on circle, or one can say CO enter. That gives you, and click on copy. One can still say CO enter. That gives you that. All right. So when that is done, you pick the object selected from the end and place it at this place, and that gives you that. Deactivate it. Then select the one to enclose it, select it, pin on any of the ends, and take it to this, and that gives you that. So you've got it, right? Now to make it a single element, what you do is select it. How do you select? Enclose the areas of interest, enclose it, then type J, enter, and that is that. This stuff now has become single element. Unlike when it's not joined. Now when it's not joined, it becomes single element. As you can see, as I'm clicking it, it's selecting differently. So that is different. There's some commands it can execute when they operate as separate element. That is why it's very good if you're going through this procedure. At the end of the day, make it single element by selecting everything, then type J. J is the shortcut for joint, enter, and that gives you a single element. All right. Now another person can decide to come up with this stuff by keeping it one side, or can you delete it? How do you delete? Click on it, select it, then go to display. This is erase. It gets it off. Good. Someone want to do something faster, can, instead of going through the what is it called, the line, can go through rectangle. Shortcut REC, enter, that gives you a rectangle, or you click on the command directly and get it activated. At the end of the day, you come to the place of interest, pin it, specify the same dimension, 6.231. All right, the corresponding part, that is 4.5, and that is that. You've got it. So both ways, but the difference between the first one and this one is that this one is automatically made to be a single element, unlike the case of circle, a case of line, where you have to select on the side and tap J to make it. That's just different. Otherwise, the objective is the same. As I told you earlier, it all depends on the style of the designer, but then the objectives remains the same at the end of the day. So that is that. That's how to achieve but then this is not what they want at the end of the day. We're trying to go get something. We want to achieve the oval shape look of the top part of the funnel. So, but I've gotten it through this. We've laid the foundation, the skeleton, using this shape. Let's see what happens next. Okay, very quickly, the next one is to produce the curved edge of the right side of the rectangle. That can be done in either of the two ways I'm going to explain now. The first one by taking up a circle, then locating the middle, tracing it to the end, as I've demonstrated now, and click on this place. Alright, this is actually enough. I've told you several you have different kind of circles, but this time around we're using center reduce circle. Now I'll repeat again. Pick up a circle, center reduce circle, trace the middle, then move it to the other of the extremes, top or bottom, and click. At the end, you can trim it, trim this, and trim this. That gives you the edge. Alright. Better still, this can be done by, how did I go back to this place? I did undo, so two times to take me back to my initial state. Now I can try to do what we call fillets. Alright. Now I've decided to use circle because it's more convenient, but then I can still use fillet. That depends on the choice. For the sake of teaching, I've demonstrated both. Now I click on fillet, go to modify this, and select the radius. This time around, if the top to bottom of the right side is 4.5, that means the half is going to be 2.25. So the radius, I will type in 2.25. I say enter. All right. Then I click on it. 1, 2, and 1 and 2. I've got it. So this is just exactly what happened the other time. So whichever way, you can always adapt it, but I think this is better. All right. Then next to that is to next to this is to insert the curved edge, which is a bit serious. All right. How do you go about that? There's supposed to be a curve at this edge and at this edge as well. But the what we call array, okay, if I'm able to achieve the top, I can use it to mirror, the what we call mirror as well. Sorry, not array, mirror. If I can able to achieve the top, I can use it to achieve the bottom. So my interest is to achieve one part, use symmetrical rule, and duplicate the other. Now, mind you, these things cannot be understood at the first instance. It takes time and practicing before you can assimilate that. So don't be discouraged by the first challenge when you first view the modeling procedures. All you need to do is to repeat it time and time again. Now, this particular step may be a bit serious, but watch how it goes. Now, I come to this sphere, right? Someone can decide to use circle, but for the method I want to adopt, come to this place and I choose elliptical arc. All right. Then the next, I will go to empty space and say from. I want to specify the place to take off. Then I will click on this place. All right. Now it's asking me the base point, which I've done now. Then I now say at to specify the place I want. The first one is 1.5, right? Then the second direction is 1. Enter. All right, I snap to this place. It's already snapped. You can see the green line. I click on this. Then move. Click on this. Come back again here. Click on this. Then snap. Go down. Rotate again. And come down. And click. Now I've gotten it. This is not actually what I have in mind, but then I want to achieve something. Just watch what happens. Now, just as I said earlier, what happened at the top should be made to happen at the bottom. Now I don't need to okay, very quickly, the next thing is to duplicate the sphere we have at the top part of the left side to duplicate at the bottom. So how do you get about that? You can use the tool we call mirror. You click on it, come to modify, select it, or you say MI enter, whichever way. Then select the element you want to mirror. Specify, say enter, specify the place you want to place it, automatically will appear. Then will ask you 2 questions, yes or no. Now choosing yes means remove the original, but choosing no means duplicate but leave the original. So I will choose no. Then after which we go into trimming. Just as I told us earlier, this is just a strategy. I actually don't have this in mind. I just want to get arc, very sharp curve at the edge of the left hand side. Okay, so having gotten what I want, so I'm now going to trim as demonstrated or as displayed on the modify panel. Select it, then trim all the places you feel that are not relevant. As you can see, now you've got that, and that is that, and that is that, and that is that. So I've gotten it. It gives me very smooth curve, both on the left and on the right side. So that's the essence of what I've done now. Then very quickly, I was still working on the plan of the funnel. You know, we're working on the funnel, and I want to start with the 2D plan of the top view or the top part of the object. And if you watch closely, you're going to see opening of 2 different diameters. So how do you go about? Let's assume the first one is 1 inch, the other one is maybe 0.5 or 0.45, depending on the interest or what's there. All right, next you go to the circle, or you say C enter, that gives you circle. Pick on it. Now most time you make use of shortcut because it makes job very easy. All right, then specify diameter of 1, say enter, and that's that. Then we'll have 2 openings, which when you look from the plan, from the top view, as we discussed in orthographic projection and the rest of them, when you look from the top view, you're going to see 2 holes in the plan view of it. So that is what we're trying to locate here now. I've put the first one, the second one, you come again, or you say enter, that activates the last command. Then specify the middle, say maybe 0.5 or 0.45 depending. Alright, that gives you this. Now we finish the plan. Now I'm going to copy this and put it in case of any use later on. How do I copy? Alright, how do I copy? You select the enclosed part because I want all of them to be copied. Then I pick it up. Then I move it to any place I want. Just keep it there and I make use of it subsequent time. Alright. Now next to this is to move it in an isometric view. Alright. So I can lay foundation for the 3 view part of the model. So how do you go about that? I come to the bottom right, okay, of the canvas. I'll select this and go to 3D. Yeah, and go to 3D. Okay, I'll go to the right bottom side of the canvas and choose this place. I'm done with the plan. Click on it and select 3D modeling and wait a little. Okay, now I've gotten this. Then after then I have to specify what we call the coordinates, the possible viewing points. Alright, it could be from the southwest, it could be from the north, it could be from the southeast, it could be from any direction of your choice. Alright, so how do I go about that? You come to this place. I want it to be in the southeast. Alright, it could be, these are 4 possible asymmetric views. Alright, this repositioning helps us to, okay, place the plan to enable us do our 3D modeling very effectively. Now I'm choosing one of the sides. It will say SE, Southeast Asymmetric. That moves the shape in this direction, as you can see. Alright, that moves. Okay, let me move this one up for the sake of this. Let me just shift it this way. Alright. Okay. Then very quickly. Okay, did I set my UCS icon? UCS icon. I don't want this to be moving up and down. Icon. Okay, UCS icon. No origin. Now that keeps my coordinates steady at one place. Alright, we're still in the foundation. I positioned it in Southeast isometrics to enable me bring out and do my 3D modeling effectively with all the possible views very, very visible. Alright. Looking at the plan view, this is not what I want. This was supposed to go in 2 different steps. The bigger one, the first step, and the smaller one will go double steps from the point of origin. Now, how do we go about that? I can decide to make this. Okay, I go to move. This is my move here. I choose move, select this, right? Then select this, choose the middle, that is the base, and move it. The first one is 3.25, I think so, the distance. Alright, I've moved it. Then, but this one need to move further again. Okay, select this, I say move. Alright, pin it up, move, position my hand towards down, and specify 2. Let's assume the distance is 2, so I've gotten it, whichever way. Alright, we're progressing gradually. Now, after then, we want to link our coordinates, which is very, very important. We want to link our coordinates. Alright, just as I explained later, previously, when you finish the plan, you go to the view. There's need for view positioning, all right? Not coordinate. Coordinate comes after. From the view, you have possible ways of your standpoint from where you observe the objects. I chose southeast. Now we're coming to the coordinates. Very, very important, because I want to add surface to the plan, to the skeletal part of the drawing. So you come to the coordinates and choose this. All right. Arrange the standpoint. And maybe let it be taken at the front. All right. Then you choose a line. All right. Pin up this. All right. I have to off the auto mode. Okay, that is it. Then repeat the same to the opposite side. Right. And that gives me this. And that is done. Then I now shift again to the other side of the coordinate, this time around front. All right. I pick up the line, then come to this side and locate. We've got it this way. Then repeat the other side, the front, to never get my this stuff. Okay. You have to be careful so you make sure you exert it at the particular point. Now, these things were fixed to enable us add surface, okay, to the two openings, the top and the bottom, right? Now, mind you, when you view this from the top, you're going to see something like this. We discussed about plan view and the rest of them. So, but then we need to add surface, we need to add thickness, sorry, to the sides, and that is how we'll start it up by fixing those coordinates. All right. Okay. Next to this is to put thickness to the entire member of the element. So how do you go about that? By first and foremost, this still stands as individual elements. So the first thing you do is to select the top. All right. Tab J for joint. I've explained that earlier. So when you select it now, it's like a single member. Now to add the thickness, you go to this. Initially, you have it as this. So you click the drop and take lifts. You want to lift it up. Select this. So lift the bottom. Select the top and the bottom. Okay. Right click and say enter. Then select what? Guides. Select guides and pick up the guide lines. All right. After I say enter, and that is it. It has added thickness to the body, though you may not see it. So how do you go about locating that? You can come to this place, to the wireframe. Okay, click on it, go to realistic, and that is that. This is the shape of what you have. So you can see the funnel is gradually forming. All right, it's gradually forming. Now we're left with one part out. That is the bottom part of the drawing as well. So how do you get about that? Take up lift, click on it. You don't need to jump because it's already a single member, and that is that. Okay, it's a cross section. Enter. That's that. Good. Now it's ready to join the two elements together. I can delete this. How do I join it together? Now I can zoom it big, hold the pin my shift and hold the middle of my mouse, the wheel part, pin it and move my hand. As I move it, it's going. All right. Or better still, you can still come to this place and select this orbit, whichever way. I've explained that initial part of it. Now I have to select this. I want to move it to join them together. So how do you go about that? Select, enter. All right. Okay. Let me pin it up. So I can move, select the mid. Okay. Then I can rotate this and take it. And that is that. I can take it back. Now, there's no magic about it, what I've done now. You just need to hold your shift, pin the wheel part of the mouse and take it around. And that gives you this. And it looks beautiful. We've not arrived, we're still going somewhere. All right. So to make it common entity, what do? You come to 3D. Now, if you watch very closely, when we migrated from this drafting and annotation, that's 2D to this 3D, many features here changed, if you can observe, all right? Like in 2D, we'll have it as draw, but here we'll have it as modeling. So, while some features we have in 3D, you don't have in 2D. All right, so I want to make this in a single member. How do you go about that? Select this, click this part, click this part, and say enter, and that's that. I repeat again, select the union, click all the parts you want. That was the first one. Okay, let me undo so you can get it exactly what you want. Okay, now select the union, click the top part, click the second part, being the bottom part, say enter, and that is it. So you've combined it as a single element for quick execution of other commands. All right. All right, another important section of the modeling is the separation of the thick part of the object to create a hole, and that we do using the tool we call shell. Very important. This is a very important tool. All right. We want to perforate the opening that allows fluid to pass through the funnel from the top to the bottom. So how do you get about that? By coming to solid editing, go to this separate icon, choose shell. First and foremost, select the entire object. Then secondly, click the first place you want to rotate. Then you can come here and use this orbit and move it around. Okay, you bring it down, move it around, bring it down, see, position it. I want to get this bottom part, then I'll select it. All right, I say enter. It asks me to offset the distance, 0.06. I'm putting the thickness now, and that is that. I say exit, exit, and that is done. Now to see it, you can rotate it back again, come to orbit, position it again. You can see it now. That's it. You can position it. It looks very beautiful. Right. This, remember, you come to the orbit and move it around to see that. Now to make the movement, bring it to the center. All right, click on this. All right, deselect, click on move, select the object you want to move and get it to the center, and that is it. I can, all right, let me, for the sake of uniformity, I can select everything. I purposely left the other one there just for in case of any. So I've finished everything about the opening, all right. But then when you look at the object, you're going to see kind of curved of bigger dimension. And from the drawing and how is around 7 point something against 6 point something inches. I mean against 5 point something inches. So how do you go about that? Simply by drawing. Okay, to insert the topmost part of the diagram is very easy. Just all you need to do first is to change. Sorry, I have to cancel it to repeat it. Initially, we'll have this thing as the front, either front or right side due to the diagrams we did before. But this time around, we want to move it to the top because the topmost part of the funnel can be viewed very clearly from the top position. So for that, we change the orientation to top. Then pick up a rectangle, right? Specify the dimension. That's say 7 points, depending on what the choice is. Okay, 6. Okay, it says 625, right? Okay, 625 against what? Okay, say 5 or 5 point something. Don't depend for teaching sake. Then we've got it. Then to give it these curved edges, what you need to do, come to fillet. I repeated that several. Then specify the radius. The radius should be the diameter of, or the distance of the two edges. Mid distance of the two edges, that is 2.5. Alright. Okay. Then to get it automatically put. So that's how I got the second. Then the next thing is select it. and move it. Alright, select it and move it. That's how I got it. I don't need to double it. I'm not trying to show you the process involved in putting it. Alright, you can now insert it. And as I want to click insert it there. So that's how I got this stuff here. Now, next to that is, remember I have to change the rotation to top, then change the edges as you can see it here, then now finally select and move it and place it on top of this place. That's how this thing is gotten. Alright, okay. Now, because I copied, either when I copy, the original will still be there, but when I move, you will have it. That's the difference between copy and move. Alright, if I move it, the original will not be there. If I copy, the original will be there. That's different. Okay, next to that, I'm just putting it here for putting sake. I need to add thickness to that, and to do that, you come to my press pool under modeling panel. All right, we discussed about important tabs and the rest of them. Also in 3D, home tab remains somehow most important because from that place you can always access most tools. Drop panel inclusive. In addition to that, they have the modeling, the mesh, and the solid editing. So it's very important. They don't have to just additional. All right. So to add thickness to that, you come to modeling, choose your press pool, hover around this oval shape you've inserted on top, which is the topmost part. Then click, take it downwards. Okay. I think the thickness should be 0.5. Let's just say 0.06. Let's just maintain the same thickness. And that's that. We've got it. But we're not finished. Then you take it again and want to perforate the edge. Okay. You pin it. Now, if you watch, okay, let me just for a second teach you sake. Now, I've created thickness to that. I've given it thickness. But then I need to create the opening with to follow the one we've initiated before. Come to press pull this time around, hover it around the center of the object, click on it, and move down. And that is gone. So the shape is gradually emerging, gradually. You can see it. It's coming up and it looks beautiful. Now, but if you watch closely, there is a little curve at the edge, a little opening at this left side of the shape, this side. So very easy. The dimension is given us, I think, 1 against 0.25. Okay, let's just go at it. We're still at the top position. So I pick up this and I specify 1 against 0.25. All right, say enter. Okay, no, I did in the other side. Okay. Better still. Okay, this time around, let's use line. I think we still have the same output. 1, then sorry. Select this. Specify 1. Okay, that is that. Okay, yeah, I think the challenge is because of the orientation. So to insert the next part, the perforated part of the topmost, all you need to do is to pick up the rectangle. Okay, pin up a place of it. Just draw it in empty space, specify 0.25. That is one of the edges. Enter, then take your 1, and that's that. So you've got it like this. But then, if you look at, or someone can still decide to use, you can still decide to use line to go about the 4 corners. I've explained that when I was starting. All right, so the next is to insert a circle at the edge of this. How do you go about this? This. Or you can use fillet method. I've explained that. Take this and this. All right. Then at the middle, we have perforated area of around 0.0125 dimension. You can still have it like this. So after inserting these curves, what do you do? I actually don't want to put circuit, but I just want to achieve something at the end of the day. Take a trim, get it off. Alright, you see, this is actually what I have in mind, and this, and this, and this. Very good. So next to that is to pick this up Okay, I can make it a single entity. I've told us how to do that. Select, say enter, J enter, and that makes it a single entity. Then I can move this. I can move from any side of interest. Okay, I have to get my auto mode off so I can move well. Okay, I can start to insert it here. Okay, let's get exact. Okay, let's snap perfectly. Right, I take it up from here. Right, take it, locate this, then come to the object as well. Locate this place, move it inside. Alright, let me see reasonable distance. Good. So, but that's not what we want. We just want to get a shape of that nature. Then the next to this is to click on it, hover it down, move it down, and I've got it. And that is that. It's pretty good. Alright, this is actually what I've been battling with. Then, in addition to that, you can decide to color it. Or first and foremost, let's make it a single entity. You take everything together, go to Union, click on it, and that is that. We've got single entity. To add the color, you can double click on it. Okay. Sorry, I've not really joined this to this, and that's why I have. Okay, yeah, to make it common entity, all I need to do is to click on Union. Alright. Click on solid union. Yeah. Then click on this place and click on this and click on this outside space, and that gives you common entity. Now I want to add color to the entire object. I can just double click on it. That brings this, select from here. Alright, the color of your choice. Say this color, I think it's beautiful. And that is that. If I check that. Alright, so that is how to go about doing this. The essence of this drawing is to show us how to use various possible tools to achieve what you want. Maybe you can give it a trial and produce a cup. Yeah, because cup has opening at the center. Okay, the only difference is that uh, there is no outlets as we have it at the bottom part, as we have it in the funnel. So, but then there's actually opening. So you can use the techniques of forming a curve, rectangle, and combining of different elements to form a single element to do yours. And as you keep practicing this, you master it more. Next modeling, we're going to be handling another kitchen equipment or kitchen an object defined in the kitchen. So I would like you to watch out for that. That is sink. Thank you very much. As we practice, we master the more. Thanks.